On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
Breaking news, Madison, we went on a lovely date last Friday.
Oh my gosh, with the champ and our dear friend Alyssa.
Yep.
And we saw Jawbreaker, which is the 90s hit.
Movie.
I feel like I watched way too young and loved it. I had the VHS.
Oh, yeah. We saw it at the Academy Museum.
Yes, the Academy of Motion Pictures Museum in Los Angeles. And it was so cool because they had Rebecca Gayheart, Judy Greer, and Julie Benz, who Dexter fans, you'll know exactly who she is. And Trixie Mattel hosted it. And it was so cool.
And Darren Stein, the director, was there.
Yes.
And it was really cool because they just gave some behind the scenes
A little tea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were talking about Rose McGowan, who I think was actually supposed to be at the thing we went to.
Really?
Yeah, I think she was on the original poster for it. And Rose McGowan did not come. And they were asked during a Q&A about Rose McGowan. And all of them just kind of shot each other a look.
Like you could feel the tension.
Yeah.
You know something's going on.
Well, and they said straight up, I think it was Judy Greer, well, sometimes people just become their character that they're playing. And Rose McGowan's such a bitch in that movie. And she's iconic in that movie.
She made the whole,
Yes, but you could definitely see okay, she's not the nicest.
Yeah.
It was really fun though. If you haven't watched Jawbreaker in a while, or if you've never seen it, which is just reprehensible, you need to see it because it's a crime if you haven't. And it's such a good rewatch. I literally all week have been listening to the soundtrack every time I'm in my car because it's just such a good soundtrack.
It is a good soundtrack. The last thing I'll say is that it's such a morbid, scary, true crimey film wrapped up in a beautiful pink, fun teenage bow. It's just, I love it.
Well, it's not true crime because it's
they
not
killed
true.
Somebody. Oh, crime, I guess. Okay.
So it was supposed to be a horror movie, but the director was saying that because they felt like it, the studios or whoever was financing it felt like it was so dark, they made them add these little sounds in between all the scenes. So if you watch the movie, you'll notice there's
cartoon sounds.
Yeah. And that was to make it, I guess, less scary. But it ended up being so iconic because it's so campy.
So campy, yeah.
But such a good movie. That was really fun. And then the next day, it was one of the champs. It was his friend's birthday.
Okay.
And so we all went down to the beach and we rode on jet skis, which was so much fun.
Yes.
The ocean's so choppy. It was wild. You're flying.
Wow.
And the water was really warm. It was 70 something degrees in the water.
Did you fall into the water at all? Okay.
No, you have to be careful, especially when you're renting jet skis.
Okay.
Because they'll charge you a crazy amount of money. It's wild. Jet skis have sensors on them. So when you're all going out to the water, and you're allowed to go pretty fucking far, but when you're going out into the water, it knows if there's other jet skis around and it automatically, you cannot go more than 5 miles per hour.
Oh shit.
And then once you're far enough from other people, you can go. And it was a thrill. It was
wow.
fun. Really fun. So
God, the ocean. I wish the ocean didn't scare the shit out of me. That scares me that you did that.
It was so fun.
But yeah, I
know.
guess if you don't fall off of it or I don't know.
Even if you'd be fine.
No.
Come on. It was a really good time though. But I have to say, I've had a very odd week here because there's something going on with the birds.
Yeah.
I told Madison, but I have to talk about it more because this is my therapy. It was really upsetting. Twice this week, a total of 3 baby birds have fallen and died because I think what happens is they build nest on the second story of my house, and my house is very tall. I don't know what happens. They fall onto the pavement and die. So I've had to do 3 burials this week because I don't know. I felt too bad. I'm like, I can't throw them away.
Right.
Like, they're just these little.
Right.
I was so upset. I was like in my backyard with a shovel, just digging a big fucking hole. And
A grave digger.
Yeah, I was a grave digger this week. Truly.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You're on your way.
I'm on my way. I'm practicing. Well, I only dug them like a foot deep. So hopefully they don't come out. But yeah, I was like, God, what is this? It's sad.
It is sad.
I was really upset. That was my weird thing of the week, I guess.
Well, this week has felt weird. You and I both we've said like we feel brain dead.
Well, also, everybody's dying.
Oh my
So many people. Okay, well, first of all, Richard Simmons died.
We may or may not be talking about that a little bit later.
Okay. He died. Shannon Doherty died, which is so weird because Saturday morning when we woke up, I put on Heathers because
I love that movie.
we had watched Jawbreaker the night before. I was like,
that's a good follow-up. Like, that's a good, in the same vein. Yeah.
So I turned that on the next morning and was watching that. And I had fully been like Googling Shannon Doherty and stuff. And then also, there was the attempted assassination.
Wild.
I have to say, though, this is so weird. We were talking about this earlier. Did you guys see the pictures of people at the RNC, like the rallies, and they're all wearing a bandage on their ear?
That's so wild.
I just don't. Political beliefs aside.
Yeah.
Political beliefs aside, believe whatever you want to fucking believe. Come on. That's embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. And I don't care if that offends anyone. I don't care if anyone's like, I'm never listening to them again. Wearing a fake Band-Aid on your ear is fucking humiliating. You need to get help. Get help right now.
What? What do you mean?
You're wearing one?
What do you mean?
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever loved a politician, but if I did love I love JFK because of I just like learning about him. That's like my fixation. But
I'm a George Washington kind of gal.
well, you had a fling. But I was Lyndon B. Johnson in a school thing once.
You were?
Yep. And he loved pecan.
Who's he?
He loved pecan pie. So
Okay.
I remember that was like the thing I brought. I don't even know what it was really for. I just know it was him. And I had like one of those trifold cardboard things, you know?
Yes.
Uh-huh. You guys can picture it. But yeah, regardless, so culty, so weird to me.
Mm-hmm. That is culty.
Like, what if his finger got shot off? Would everyone show up with like their finger taped down or something?
Well, yeah, of course.
It's bizarre to me.
That's what you have to do.
I feel like we just live in the weirdest world right now.
We do. Very weird world.
Anyway, we're here to
It's hard
distract
to
you
not
from
talk
it.
about it without getting too deep politically or, just all of it. So we're here to keep it light and fun and talk about death.
Yeah. Do you think we've ever gone to the moon?
Oh, don't start it.
Okay, no.
Okay, wait. I have a wild listener email.
Let's hear it.
Can I just gotta read it.
Let me crack up in my Diet Coke for
Okay.
this one.
Hey, Spencer and Madison. Greetings to you. My name is Erin, and I'm a fairly new listener of the pod, which we love.
Welcome.
New listeners are the best. But that means I have so many episodes to binge.
Yes.
Your show is equally entertaining and educational, and it helps me pass the time at work. So for all of it, thank you. I am writing because I have a funny and entertaining story for you that I lived firsthand, and I need people to know. Names have been changed to protect identities, of course. My friend Lana and I like to go to local bars for trivia nights. Usually we go to a local watering hole for their weekly Thursday trivia, but Lana was scrolling through Facebook and saw on a community page that her neighborhood community social club, think 1970s built building with a function hall, but also a private bar area for members, but without the religious affiliation like a Knights of Columbus hall. That's cool. We need to find one of those because all we know is Red Robin.
Yeah, that's our watering hole.
Yeah. They were having their monthly trivia night and it was open to the public. Lana had been dying to join this social club for forever, and I like cheap beer. So we decided on this fateful Thursday that our trivia night that week would take place at the social club. We, being in our mid-30s, were the youngest people there by some decades outside the trivia host.
Love that. Love that vibe.
Love. And we were the only non-members participating that evening. We arrived, claimed a small table for the two of us, got some drinks, and got down to trivia-ing. The trivia host typically makes club updates and announcements before trivia begins, and on this particular night, one of the announcements was a message of condolence to a member, Kathy, who had lost her husband, Bob, in the last month. We all raise a glass in memoriam to Bob, and trivia night begins. Lana and I did not do well scoring-wise that night, thanks to the music round being just a ton of really old songs, but I digress. Trivia ends, and some of the friendly and curious members of the club come up and introduce themselves to us. The trivia host, Justin, starts talking to Lana on her side of our table, and on my side of the table, the aforementioned Kathy introduces herself to me.
Okay.
Remember, Kathy just lost her husband, Bob.
Right.
The conversation went like this. Kathy: "Hi, I'm Kathy. I am the one who Justin gave condolences to at the beginning of the night." Me: "Oh yes, that's right. I'm so sorry for your loss." Because what else do you say to a stranger in this situation? Full on expecting the conversation to steer towards general get-to-know-you pleasantries like, where are you from? What do you do for work? But Kathy follows up with this absolute bombshell. Kathy: "Yeah, Bob passed away 3 weeks ago. I came home from TJ Maxx and found him dead in the washing machine."
In the washing machine? What?
Kathy then proceeds to full-on trauma dump to me the entire story, sparing not one detail of coming home from running errands and couldn't find Bob in any of his usual spots in the house. So she went down to the basement and found him hanging over their top loader washing machine, his head and one arm, and the other arm dangling out, still standing tiptoes trying to reach the socks at the bottom of the drum.
Oh, at first I was like, oh no, did he hang himself?
No, he was reaching in at the bottom of the drum
And then died?
and died.
Oh, fuck.
Kathy: "He must have reached for the socks and had a massive heart attack and died in seconds. There was nothing anyone could have done. My son was home and he called 911. The paramedics came, but they were taking forever. And at that point, I was on the phone with my sister-in-law, who is a nurse at a local hospital. And she said because of how long it was taking them to get him out of there, he was probably already gone." I feel like I should be nominated for an Academy Award for my acting in this instance, because somehow I managed to keep a straight face throughout the entirety of this conversation, which I get, and that's why I laughed, because it's so just somebody you don't know is just telling you that.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And the winner for best non-reaction to a 75-year-old lady trauma dumping her husband's recent death to a complete stranger is, drumroll, Erin. When the paramedics left with Bob's body, she called her daughter, who is not Bob's daughter, though. Apparently this marriage was the second marriage later in life for both
See,
Kathy
I
and
love
Bob.
someone who's going to give you the whole fucking story.
Yeah, so do I.
I love it.
Yes, I learned all this and more in the brief conversation and said to her, "Honey, I lost Bob." And her daughter's response was, "Well, Mom, then go look for him." But she then had to inform her that Bob had indeed passed away and wasn't just out wandering the neighborhood aimlessly. Apparently, after the rest of the phone calls she made to various family members and spending some time at the hospital, she and her son came home to sort the laundry and threw away Bob's clean socks, underwear from the dryer. Oh, that's sad.
It is sad.
Because I'll donate his clothes, but you can't donate used underwear, even if it's clean. My face might have given away to Kathy my desperate need to get away from this conversation, but my internal monologue was screaming for Lana to hear any piece of what is being said to me. We would do that. I would want you to hear
100%.
that. But alas, she didn't hear a blessed thing. I chugged my beer, and loudly put the glass on the table, at long last garnering Lana's attention. Lana and I make eye contact, and I say something like, "Oh, I have to be at work early tomorrow." So I again express condolences to Kathy, thank Justin for his trivia hosting skills, and we make a swift exit. As I hustled out the door, I asked Lana, "Did you hear any of what Kathy and I were talking about?" And when she said no, I about died right there in the parking lot, joining Bob in the grave. During our ride home, I proceeded to trauma dump to Lana, Kathy's trauma dump to me, and she was baffled. She literally didn't hear a word, not a syllable. I don't want to make light of Bob's death because Kathy clearly loved him and he sounded like a nice man, but golly, being found deceased in a washing machine. I also don't know what possessed Kathy to tell me, a total stranger, the play-by-play, minute-by-minute details of his passing. Probably her way of coping with this recent loss without therapy or grief counseling. I guess telling a random stranger at the social club your trauma is cheaper than therapy. Anyway, thought you'd get a kick out of my little story. Thanks for reading.
I love that.
Wild.
Well, here's the thing. Kathy, that's probably like her social interaction with people is
Totally.
there. So it's probably like, oh, she's fucking going and telling everyone.
I feel like I'd probably tell everybody too.
Yeah. We're oversharers though, clearly.
Yeah.
We do be talking. You know what? Bless her heart. I mean, that is, you know what?
Never be able to do the laundry again.
Also, if someone's going to traumatize, at least it's a wild story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know what? Most 75-year-olds aren't going to trauma dump. They're from that generation where you keep it in.
Oh, you're like, Grandma, go to therapy. Up. And they're like, no, that's for the weak.
Yeah. So you know what, Kathy? Spread the word.
Hats off.
Spread.
Call us. Tell us.
Spread the word, Kathy.
Oh, now I want to like go sign up for like a bingo hall or something.
We really should.
We should. I think we'd love it.
We did talk about maybe trying to contact like an old folks home.
Oh, yeah. We were like, can we go practice our live shows? Retirement communities.
All death stuff. Jesus.
Oh, God. They'd probably think we were some real assholes, Madison.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that time. And our first one for the evening says, am I the asshole for going to my ex-fiance's funeral? I was engaged to a man for 3.5 years, and we ended up breaking up. During our years together, I was a full-time mom to his 2 boys that he had full custody of, and we also had his daughter on the weekends. We have been split up for 7 years now, and I still have contact with his kids. He recently died of a brain aneurysm.
Oh.
His children contacted me and let me know, and of course I was going to be there for them. A couple weeks ago, my man of 4 years lied to me about taking his daughter to the carnival with his daughter's mom. He spent his whole check there. When I found out because his daughter accidentally told on him, he said it was my fault he lied to me because either way I would have been pissed. So he lied and continued to tell me that I have no right to be upset about it because I went to my ex's funeral. Now, when he died, my man was very understanding about everything and there was no tension about me going. He was even invited, but told me to go and be there with the family. I can't be the only person that believes those two things do not even begin to compare. So basically, her ex died, she went to the funeral, and he's trying to compare the fact that he took his ex to the fair and spent his entire paycheck, which I'm like, there's multiple problems going on here.
Well, the first thing that I have to address is saying my man. I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either. Well,
I wouldn't tell a story saying my man, my man.
You do like my husband.
Yeah, but I feel like my man is different.
Some people want to own that. They're like, that's my man.
I don't want to own anything.
Okay.
Second,
he spent his whole check at the fair.
I know. I'm getting there. That's my only issue with her.
Okay. It's the my man comment.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Okay.
Secondly, they need to work some shit out. They have problems because you know what? I love a divorced family or a split up family still doing things together when they have a kid. Love that. Love going to the fair with the mom and the kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Love all that. But there needs to be no secrecy there. There needs to be an open line of communication there.
No lying.
And third, a funeral. I don't give a fuck if it is, I don't want to say mistress or anything, but like it does not matter. A funeral is a funeral. The person is dead. That's not even comparable.
Yeah, you can't compare the two. And spending a paycheck at the fair is wild when you're
at the carnival.
When you're an adult with responsibilities.
At the carnival.
The carnival. What
is that?
What'd you buy, babe?
You didn't spend your whole paycheck on Poppy Jacks or whatever they're called.
Yeah, you're doing Poppy Jacks. You're on the Tilt-A-Whirl. You went on it 5 times, Eric. What the fuck is going on?
What's going on?
What's going on, Eric? You're going to the fucking carnival. You're spending goddamn your whole fucking check.
And you're with your ex-wife, Trisha.
I gave you fucking money for gas last week. You told me you were going to reimburse me when you got paid.
And
Now,
I go to a funeral?
I go to a funeral. I pay the electric bill. And Eric, you're going to the fucking carnival with
Oh my
Maxine.
God.
And
Oh,
you're
no,
spending
it was
your whole
Trisha.
goddamn paycheck?
It was Trisha.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm just verklempt. No, that's crazy. Break up.
Yeah.
Break up. Because all of that is alarming behavior
Yeah.
to me.
It is alarming to spend your whole paycheck at a carnival. Don't you have bills?
Yeah. Who's paying the rent? Were you trying to win big on the throwing the thing that you
Were
get a
they
free
giving
fish?
away a month of rent for free?
Yeah.
A month of mortgage for free? Or was it teddy bears and tiddlywinks?
Eric, get it together. Pissed. Okay, this next one says, would I be the asshole for not attending a family member's funeral after specifically being left out of the will?
Let's hear it.
No. Just kidding.
I'm going to the carnival with Eric.
It says, recently a family member passed away suddenly and unexpectedly, leaving our family in shock. Fortunately, he had also updated his will, covering his wishes for a fairly sizable estate. He had no children, and his wife had passed away, leaving his 4 siblings, including my parents, to split equally the majority of the estate. A smaller portion was put aside to be split equally amongst my generation. The smaller group includes me, my 2 small children, my 2 siblings, and 2 cousins. After the estate was finalized, the executor of his will took me aside separately and told me that according to his instructions, I was personally not to be left with anything, but my 2 small kids would both be given an equal share of what this smaller group would inherit. This amount would be placed into an account controlled by the executor until my kids reach 18 and go to college, or the executor passes on. I was told this was a fairly common practice amongst families and that I should be grateful my kids were included. Emotionally, it's hard to not feel put out. While this family member and I were not exactly very close, we lived in different states, etc., our family as a whole has always been close, and there's never been any scandals or drama amongst us. Also, the others of this group had pretty much the same relationship with him. Would I be the asshole for not attending his funeral with the rest of the family? It's costing almost $3,000 for our plane tickets. I just feel like not only was I specifically left out of the inheritance, but I was not even trusted to handle money set up for my kids. Why? I've never asked for money or any type of help from my family. I've had a very normal and boring life. Is this actually a normal practice, or am I crazy?
It's hard. I can see it from both sides, but this person feels very entitled.
It feels entitled. They were voted the asshole. And a lot of people pointed out that basically this relative gave her children like a free ride through college.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be set.
Right.
And that did a big favor for her as a parent. And
Right.
like, it's not like he was like, oh, I'm not doing your whole family. It's just going to your kids.
Right.
So I kind of feel like
The person
Not
sounds entitled.
yeah, like not going to the funeral because you're not getting any money directly yourself feels fucked up.
Maybe the person who left the money saw that, like saw right through you.
Yeah. So, asshole.
Asshole.
Definitely an asshole.
God. Well,
Oh, before we do anything else, can we talk about the fact that we are going on tour?
oh my God, how could we forget?
How could we forget? We are going on tour starting August 20th, which kicks off in LA, the day our book comes out, which you can pre-order at prh.com/obituary. But if you want to come see us live in person and celebrate with us and hear some behind the scenes scandal of the making of the book and so much more, then there's going to be a lot more actually than that.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about. So come see us in person. You can get tickets at obituarypodcast.com. Now that that's out of the way, I am up first this week, which means you should have a side bitch for us.
I do. I sure do. And it is for Richard Simmons.
Oh, I'm glad you got that one.
This is the Washington Post obituary, which is phenomenal. However, very, very long. So
Okay.
we will be cutting some things out.
Okay.
Okay? I do want to give a little trigger warning. Richard Simmons, there's a lot of body and food talk. But here we go. Richard Simmons, the frizzy-haired fitness guru. Okay, well, first of all, that's not very nice.
Yeah, frizzy's not usually the best word.
Who championed positivity exercise, and healthy eating, and helped people lose millions of pounds through an idiosyncratic blend of earnestness and camp, died July 13th at his home in Los Angeles, a day after his 76th birthday. His publicist, Tom Estey, confirmed the death, but gave no other details. Mr. Simmons, who retired to his Los Angeles home and abruptly left the public eye in 2014, revealed on social media in March that he had been successfully treated for skin cancer. The announcement came days after he published a startling post in which he declared that every day we live, we are getting closer to our death, and urged readers to enjoy your life to the fullest. For more than 40 years, Mr. Simmons was a zany, irrepressible advocate for physical fitness and weight loss, wearing sparkling tank tops and striped dolphin short shorts, while exhorting Americans to get off the couch and get moving. If your underwear isn't wet, he would shout, "You're not working hard enough."
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Adopting playful titles like the Pied Piper of Pounds and the Clown Prince of Fitness. He led classes at the Beverly Hills exercise studio Slimmins, published best-selling fitness guides, including the Never Say Diet book in 1980, promoted portion control kits like Deal a Meal, and released hit workout videos including Sweatin' to the Oldies in 1988, in which he led aerobic routines to songs such as Dancing in the Street and Great Balls of Fire, backed by a live band in a gym setting meant to evoke a high school reunion. A self-described former fatty, the 5'7" Mr. Simmons represented a much more accessible physical ideal than svelte or muscle-bound peers like Jane Fonda and Jack LaLanne, said Natalia Melman-Pechzrella, a history professor at the New School in Manhattan, and the author of Fit Nation, The Gains and Pains of America's Exercise Obsession. Recounting his story in books and exercise classes, Mr. Simmons said he had struggled with compulsive eating ever since he was a boy in New Orleans, entranced by opulent French Quarter restaurants and his parents' home cooking. He went directly from paplum to crepe Suzette, weighed 268 pounds by the time he graduated from high school, and became a plus-size model while studying in Italy as an exchange student.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Playing a dancing meatball,
Oh, wow.
a bunch of grapes, and an earthbound Peter Pan in commercials for food and underwear. Mr. Simmons said he decided to transform his body after finding an anonymous note left under the windshield wiper of his car, which he had parked outside an Italian supermarket where he was autographing packages of gnocchi. "Fat people die young," it read. "Please don't die." Jesus
God.
Christ. Overcome with fear and anxiety, he turned to pills, shots, massages, hypnosis, anything and everything, while trying to slim down in a hurry. For a time, he simply stopped eating. He lost 112 pounds in 2.5 months, devastating his mind and body before he checked himself into a hospital. Mr. Simmons underwent plastic surgeries for his chin, eyes, nose, and hair. After moving to Los Angeles, he started his exercise studio in 1974, complete with an adjoining restaurant, Roughage, that included one of the first freestanding salad bars, independent of a steakhouse. His workouts were part performance art, part burlesque show, and part therapy session, in which he comforted students as they burst into tears. He donned wings, a tutu, and other outrageous costumes, and maintained an almost theatrical intensity, shouting out compliments about pupils' thighs and butts or chanting, "Fat, fat, fat, go away, give it all to Doris Day." Oh my God. It goes on to talk more about his career and then ends with some of his final years. By the early 1980s, Mr. Simmons was appearing regularly on the ABC soap opera General Hospital. He played himself, leading exercise classes at the fictional campus Disco, and appearing on late-night television shows hosted by Johnny Carson and David Letterman. Looking to emulate the success of Fonda's workout videos, he began releasing his own exercise tapes in 1983 with titles including Dance Your Pants Off, Party Off the Pounds, and No Ifs, Ands, or Buts. His first VHS tape, Every Day with Richard Simmons, opened with shots of diners enjoying pizza, fried chicken, and a corn dog. Mr. Simmons made a dramatic entry while bursting out of a banana split, outfitting everyone in yellow jogging suits and transporting them into his studio, where the sweating commenced. His exercise videos collectively sold more than 20 million copies, according to his website. Their success helped him accrue a fortune that enabled him to settle into a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, where he lived alone with his housekeepers and pet Dalmatians, maintained a collection of more than 400 dolls, and a parked Mercedes luxury sedan with the license plate, "Why are you fat?" Oh my God. Survivors include a brother. Late in his career, Mr. Simmons often noted that he found it difficult to talk with fans and students who told him about their struggles with weight loss and depression. He took their setbacks personally, he said, and cried more than he laughed. Prayer helped, as did keeping busy. People need the court jester, so I keep that smile on and keep going out there to do what I do, he told Men's Health magazine in 2012. He added, "I'm the clown you take out of the box and wind up when you need a good laugh. And then, when you're done with me, I go back in the box."
Wow. He was such a mystery, like an anomaly in his later years, because I remember there was like that whole situation where some people said his team like kidnapped him.
Remember the whole
held him
podcast?
captive. No, but I remember there being like...
There was a whole podcast called like "Where in the World is Richard Simmons?"
Oh, really?
And this guy like went over his whole life story and nobody could find him.
No. Yeah, but then like I saw videos of like recent years, I guess, of like people going to his house and like him coming out and talking to them and signing autographs, which you shouldn't go to someone's house. But he seemed very like much still the type of person to like embrace his fans. And
he's probably fucking tired.
Yeah, he was jazzercising for fucking goddamn
80 years.
Half a century, baby. He's tired.
God, I'd be exhausted.
God, we've been working out for a year and I'm already tired of it.
God, yesterday, remember I told our trainer, I was like, that was an emotional roller coaster. All I did was swing a kettlebell. But I was like, God.
Yeah, she called me after the gym yesterday and was like, I told David today that I was going to cry.
Yeah.
I was like, he probably thinks you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to take a quick break and get a snack. But when we come back, I'll tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in that little coffin of yours?
Well, this week, I wanted to look into a specific type of memorial, and you might have seen one before. It's called a ghost bike.
Okay.
Have you ever seen those where, well, from the outside, it seems pretty obvious. It's a bicycle that's like spray painted white.
Oh, for like accidents?
Yes. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like the first time I saw one, I kind of assumed it was like a memorial. I saw one like chained to a pole.
But I didn't know it was like a thing.
Yes. So it's actually really interesting because even just the color, I feel like so often when you think of like death, you think of the color black, obviously.
Right. Thanks to the Victorian.
The Victorian era and even before that.
Yeah.
Like Romans were doing it or in the Roman times. But according to historians, oftentimes white is also associated with death because it represents all things holy and divine, which is why sometimes you can see something like that type of memorial and be like, oh, okay, that's probably for an accident or something.
Right.
But the origin of a white bike, it has a really crazy origin story. So it brings us back to Amsterdam in the 1960s.
Okay.
And I've always heard Amsterdam is very like bike friendly.
Okay.
As a place. And that's actually because it was designed to be in recent decades. They made it a very like bikeable city.
Okay.
It's very much ingrained in Dutch culture. Bicycles. But back in the 1960s, it was a bit of a different story. And I'm going to give y'all the TLDR, but essentially there was something called the Provo movement, which was started by a group of young anarchist activists in Amsterdam back in the 60s. And one of their best known initiatives was the White Bicycle Plan, which was created by a man named Lud Schimmelpenninck. And their goal was to provide free bicycles for public use. So they got a hold of some bikes and painted them white. And basically anyone could use them to get around the city.
Oh, that's cool.
I love it because I feel like it's what we need to see more of, like people doing actually helpful things for their communities.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, unfortunately, today, at least here, I doubt one would last. It'd get stolen.
You see Spencer on the community bike. say hi.
Yeah.
I was the community bike. Everybody rode me, honey. Just kidding.
You're not kidding. So their plan only succeeded for so long, but its legacy inspired bike share programs all over the world. And Lud, still at 89 years of age, is active in Amsterdam's bicycle scene, and he works with council members to promote community cycles. They say that that's like what prompted even bike shares as we know it now.
Okay.
Like when you're in New York or whatever, there's city bikes everywhere. And in Los Angeles, I feel like we have a few of them, but we more so have scooters everywhere. But even there, people throw them and...
I flew off of them.
Oh my God, yeah. Never forget. God, now I'm craving Swingers, that ranch.
I'm like, no.
Please. Okay, anyway. Now I'm going to move into white bicycles in relation to memorials. But I kept coming back to that story about Lude. So I read a fantastic article on Grist from 2015 written by Madeline Thomas that said, quote, "You've probably seen a ghost bike. Maybe its skeletal white frame, locked to a street sign on a busy corner, blended into the madness of a bustling urban backdrop. Or perhaps the makeshift memorial emanated its phantomly presence chained to a single lamppost alongside a lonely country highway. No matter the location, ghost bikes turn an indiscriminate patch of road into a solemn reminder. A cyclist was killed here." End quote. So they mentioned the origins of ghost bikes, which actually takes us back to 2003 in St. Louis, Missouri, where a man named Patrick Vanderchuin witnessed a horrific accident where a cyclist was killed and decided to place a ghost bike as a memorial for the victim.
Wow.
And that's the first time that I believe it ever happened.
Wow.
Since then, ghost bikes started popping up all around the city and eventually all over the US and now even globally. And there's actually a ghostbike.org where you can go on and they have like markers, like they say where certain ones are and everything. So it's pretty incredible.
Oh, wow.
It kind of reminded me of when we talked about the origin story of those like little public libraries in neighborhoods.
Totally. I was totally thinking that.
Yeah, it's just like it's one of those things that's really restores your faith in humanity.
Absolutely.
According to the National Safety Council, in 2022, cyclist deaths were at an all-time high. There was 1,360 bicyclist deaths, and 928 of them were motor vehicle related.
Ugh.
According to the National Center for Health Statistics mortality data, males accounted for 87% of all bicycle deaths, which I thought was really interesting. That's a very high percentage.
It's like almost all of them.
Uh-huh. And like, here's the thing. Okay, I'm not a cyclist. Growing up in my neighborhood, they would take over the road a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And we would always get so annoyed.
But they also aren't allowed to ride on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
There have been moments where I've been driving like, fuck you.
Oh yeah, I like want to clothesline them. I'm like, I'm gonna open my door. My dad was like the number one cyclist hater. Sorry, Dad, I'm just putting you on blast. But
what do you?
Because he would get in fights with them a lot because they'd be like riding so slow on like the one main road to get to my parents' house, and it'd be like, move to the side, like move out of the way.
There's no winning.
There needs to be like an equal balance. Like let them be on the side, and then, but also if there's a fucking car behind you, move over to the side. Damn it, piss me off. Anyways, I wanted to share.
Talking about ghost bikes, and then you said you want a clothesline.
No, I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not going to do it. I never would. Never have, never would. You were saying you think about it. Like, get the fuck out of my way.
I know. Remember in Wayne's World, when a girl's on a bike, she goes, Wayne! And then, boom! Into a car. Flies.
Cyclists have attitudes sometimes. And sometimes I feel like they're condescending. It is tragic though, because you can get frustrated with all kinds of things. I get frustrated with them the same way I would get frustrated with like someone who's going under the speed limit or someone who's driving like an asshole. Yeah. It's like the same type of frustration. Everyone needs to share the road.
Share the road.
But it goes both ways. Share the road.
Yeah.
I did want to share this article from the Bangor Daily News, October 5th, 2010. And it says Ghost Bikes for Fallen appearing across U.S. Again, this is from 2010. So, I mean, honestly, 7 years late to the party. But it says...
7 years late?
Yeah, because it started in 2003.
Oh.
It's from 2010.
I was like, it's 2024,
No. So 3 plus 7.
22nd century.
3 plus 7 is... Let me fucking tell you guys this.
Don't do it.
I'm talking to this asshole on the phone the other day, and we were talking about something. And she's like, yeah, I mean, it's the 22nd century. They should have this by now. I said, what? Pardon? And she said, yeah, it's the 22nd century. I said, Madison, babe, it is not the 22nd century. We are not quite there yet. And you were like, yeah, like, and she's like, well, what century are we in then?
Where are we? Where am I?
So we are still actually in the 21st. And she's like, okay, but when's the 22nd? Because the 2022 already happened. You're like, okay.
You know
By
what?
your logic, technically we would have been in the 24th century, but...
I mean, that's where I'm at.
Oh, she's on that future shit.
I'm on that Fergie Ferg.
Okay, anyway, this article says, quote, New York, the well-trod sidewalk beside a busy urban boulevard is an unlikely place for a young man's memorial, but there it is, chained to a signpost outside a furniture store. A man's bicycle painted ghostly white. Flowers cover the frame and snake up the signpost, and a rust-colored scarf is tied carefully to the handlebars. For months after her son Asif's death on the adjacent street, Lizzie Rahman would visit the bicycle at least twice a week. Sometimes she would stand in the middle of the wide, buzzing avenue and visualize Asif 22 riding alongside the buses, trucks, cars, and other cyclists. When I go there, it's like I see him, said Rahman, who still can't believe that anyone could have missed her nearly 6-foot-tall son as he pedaled home one afternoon in February 2008. A truck driver hit and killed Asif, and the quote-unquote ghost bike erected in his honor is now one of nearly 70 in New York City, planted near the spots where riders are killed.
Oh.
The practice began here in 2005 after Elizabeth Padilla died, beneath the wheels of an ice cream delivery truck in Brooklyn, but it had started 2 years earlier in St. Louis, Missouri, where volunteers began erecting ashy white bikes to remember fallen cyclists. Now there are ghost bikes in as many as 134 cities in 35 states and 21 countries, according to ghostbikes.org, which tracks the activities of the volunteer groups that maintain the bicycles. As with most things that occupy precious public space in this overcrowded city, the ghost bikes have caught the attention of city officials. In June, the Department of Sanitation said it planned to remove derelict bikes, including ghost bikes, saying they denied other bicyclists parking spots and could block sidewalks or streets.
Come on.
The department backed down last month after biking advocates argued that ghost bikes are memorials, not abandoned piles of steel. But people like Mary Beth Kelly, whose husband, Carl Henry Nocht, was killed while bicycling, said the battle showed the difficulties of getting the city to spotlight the hazards cyclists face, even as it encourages cycling and creates new bike lanes. Quote, we are trying to make New York a more livable city, and that means alternative means of transportation have to be made available and safe, Kelly said. These bikes serve as reminders that we're only halfway there. The article goes back and says Asif Rahman's mother hadn't heard of the ghost bikes before he died, but now she views them as a way of raising awareness among walkers, cyclists, and drivers. Rahman still visits Asif's ghost bike a couple of times a month, and she keeps an eye on it as she drives by to make sure it hasn't been knocked over.
Aww.
She notices when someone has left flowers or other mementos. The scarf appeared recently. It's nicely wrapped around the front, Rahman said. Someone who loves him, adores him, came in his memory put a scarf around it. Such gestures are common for ghost bikes, which dot New York's 5 boroughs. With their white frames and tires, garlands of flowers, the bicycles are startling amid the gray and black of the city streets. Passers-by sometimes stop abruptly and then move closer to read the signs that accompany each one. Rahman and Kelly say the bicycles could save lives by reminding people of the hazards on New York's crowded streets, but some who have lost loved ones do not embrace them. The parents of 8-year-old Alexander Toulouse still try to avoid the Brooklyn intersection where their son was killed by a post office truck in 2008, and they declined the invitation to attend the ghost bike's unveiling. Alexander Toulouse, 8 years old, killed by truck September 6, 2008, rest in peace. The sign on the white children's bicycle reads. On the anniversary of his death, someone left a cup filled with colored daisies on the sidewalk beside the ghost bike. It's a good idea to highlight cycling fatalities, Alexander's father, Chris Toulouse, said in an email message, but he said ghost bikes are no substitute for the city making drivers more aware of bike lanes and making cyclists more diligent about obeying traffic rules. And for him and his wife, at least, they are more of a painful reminder than a pleasant memorial. Though most ghost bikes are old and donated by bike shops, the bicycle memorializing Knocked is one the doctor used for commuting. It replaced the original donated ghost bike, which was smashed by a car, even though it was off the street and beside a designated bike path that skirts the Hudson River in Manhattan.
Oh, that's scary.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Knocked and Kelly were pedaling along the popular path in June 2006 when a police tow truck turned into the path from the street, hitting Knocked. That bike has particular meaning to me, Kelly said of the current ghost bike, which she offered to volunteers after the first one was wrecked. Knocked would have turned 61 on September 10th, so Kelly did what she always does to memorialize his birthday. She visited his old ghost bike and filled its basket with flowers.
Oh.
But memories are only part of the reason Kelly says the ghost bike must remain. It has a very important message, which is that cyclists, even on a bike path, cannot be protected enough, said Kelly, who, like Rahman, was active in the campaign to preserve ghost bikes. They are resting easier now that sanitation officials have changed their tune, but Leah Todd of the Street Memorial Project said there could be more battles ahead as the number of ghost bikes grows to match the number of bicyclists killed. I'm never confident that there will be a last fight, Todd said. It was cool to see some like personal stories tied to it. And like obviously we kind of fuck around and joke about everything, but like honestly, it is scary. So my friend Ajiti, who lives in New York, me and her husband Anand went on like a 16-mile bike ride, like from their apartment down along like the piers. It's scary. It's scary. Driving in New York is fucking terrifying.
I just think it's cool though now when I see, because I've seen those. I've seen like memorials for people and a bike, but I never knew the whole origin of it or that it's like a movement, not a movement, but like a thing.
It is in a way. Well, the good thing about them too is that like, it's like when you're driving and you see a memorial, it makes you be more cautious and more conscious of while you're driving. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's the same thing. Like if I was on a bike and I saw one of those, I'd be like, okay, fuck, I need to like keep an eye out.
Yeah, absolutely.
A memorial with a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I was curious about the history of them because I saw one recently and I was like, I don't really, like I know what that is, but I don't know how it started, why it started, when it started. So yeah.
Yeah.
A little more on its history.
Well, thank you.
Well, of course. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Madison's going to tell us what had her spinning in her coffin this week.
Okay.
We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
All right, Geoffs. I'm trying out something a little new, okay? Just bear with me. But I was like, you know what? Let me get into it, okay?
Fuck. Okay, we heard pizza. We heard...
No. Oh, my God. I would never do that
cheese.
Again. No, not doing that again. So I want to talk about some terms that we may or may not have heard of in everyday life.
Okay.
That sound like they belong to the funerary industry, but are actually just normal terms. So
I'll hear you out. I don't know where you're going.
I know, terms that might sound like, okay, so for example, death grip. We all know what a death grip is. We all know what taking the graveyard shift means. Right?
Yeah, but we don't know the origins.
We don't know the origins, but I'm not going to get into those. These terms may sound kind of morbid, but they pertain to things like sports or art or even aviation. So we're going to get into it and it will all make sense.
Aviator, Geoffs, this one's for you.
Shout out, Dad. Okay, first up, we have got a coffin bone. And no.
Oh, everyone's always saying that.
This has nothing to do with necrophiliacs, okay? A coffin bone is a term that mostly belongs in the equestrian world. The coffin bone is a bone in a horse's body. It's small and kind of triangular and sits within the hoof towards the front of the horse's foot. Okay? It's a bone inside of the hoof of a horse.
Okay.
And they call it the coffin bone, and it's essential to help support a horse's weight, absorb shock, and helps with their balance and weight distribution. Other terms for it are the pedal bone, and I think like the scientific term is the third phalanx. And I've only really heard it used when talked about horses, but I guess a lot of animals have a coffin bone and coffin joints, like elephants, donkeys, pigs, and cattle. From Science Direct, it says, quote, often referred to as the coffin bone due to the coffin-like nature of the hoof capsule encasing the bone. It is a semicircular wedge-shaped bone that is largely spongy in appearance due to abundant vascular channels that pass through it. Huh. So if you ever hear coffin bone, you'll know.
The more you know.
The more you know. Okay, deadheading.
We know what a deadhead is.
Okay, it's not the Grateful Dead.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
I know. But deadheading is a reference that is used in gardening and in aviation. To deadhead something when you're gardening is to remove dead flowers from a plant to encourage it to bloom some new ones.
Oh my God.
Okay, so leaving dead flowers on a plant will just suck the nutrients and energy from the plant. But when you deadhead it, your plant will use those nutrients and energy to create regrowth.
That should be a term for breakups.
Yeah.
Like I'm cutting off this thing that's taking off my energy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Deadhead.
What happened to Wayne? Deadheaded.
Deadheaded him.
He was sucking all the nutrients.
Yeah.
And not in the good way.
Honey. Okay. Now, in aviation, it's a little different. According to Simplifying, it says, quote, a deadhead is a flight within a trip sequence which a crew member is not scheduled to work.
I know this one because it's in a movie.
Really?
The one where Leonardo DiCaprio pretends.
Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can. He deadheads. They're like, oh, are you the
Oh, you're right.
They're like, are you the deadhead? And he's like, yeah. And remember, he can't find the seat. And so they pull it out for him.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. It says deadheads are used to reposition pilots or flight attendants to a city where their trip continues or ends. A deadhead can be the first or last flight of a trip, and it can also be anywhere in the middle of the sequence. Crew members are usually expected to be in full uniform for a deadhead flight because they are considered on the job and are paid for being on the plane despite not working. But I've also read that deadheading can relate to like a city bus or other transportation driving their routes but not having any passengers.
Got it.
So that's deadheading. Okay, a coffin lock. A coffin lock refers to this like heavy duty type of lock that doesn't have anything to do with coffins. I was even looking up like the origins of it. Like there's nothing.
Shape wise?
No.
Huh.
It's often known as a dual lock or a butt joint lock. The lock is used in theater. Like that term is always used in theater, I guess, because a coffin lock is used to connect large set pieces like backdrops.
Oh, probably so they don't fall.
Yeah, or walls
put you
on
in the
stage.
coffin.
I don't think that. I think that it just because it locks like so well. I don't know. Couldn't find anything. A 4-penny coffin. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
Or a coffin house. Okay. This is one of my favorite things to learn. So this refers to basically the first shelters for unhoused people. They were called coffin houses. They date back to the 1800s in London, and they were these shelters that were created by the Salvation Army. An unhoused person seeking shelter could pay 4 pennies at night and sleep in the shelter in basically a wooden coffin with tarp on top for a blanket.
Interesting.
The pictures of it, it's kind of scary, the pictures, because it literally looks like a mass grave. Oh. It's like these little coffins just lined up next to each other.
Little cots, maybe?
No, they're low to the ground. They're like these plywood boxes.
Oh.
That people could sleep in. But also at the 4-penny coffin house, if you didn't have 4 pennies, but maybe had 1 penny, you could come into the shelter and sit on a wooden bench for the night for 1 penny. But then there's the 2-penny hangover, which is where they would tie these ropes in front of the benches. And for 2 pennies, you could hang your legs.
I just learned the origin story of a hangover. And it's those things that they have.
Oh.
I don't know where I saw that. I just saw that factoid, though, that like...
Really?
A hangover is literally because you used to
could
hang
hang over.
Yeah, it's probably a video of like, did you know where?
Okay. Well, hey, there you go.
The more you know.
There are coffin houses, though, today that I did not know about.
Huh.
I stumbled upon this article from The Guardian that talks about coffin houses in Hong Kong. They're a little different, though. So in this article from The Guardian, they talk about this specific one called the Lucky House in Hong Kong. So it's an apartment building, and in one of the units that is about 500 square feet, there are 30 residents living inside of it.
Jesus.
They all live in these plywood coffins. So they call them a coffin house, but they're like these plywood coffin bunks that are 2 by 6 feet with their own sliding door.
Interesting.
I guess the housing market is insane in Hong Kong, and to get public assistance takes years. So many low-income people need to stay in a coffin house. And I also read that Hong Kong is the most overly populated city in the world, along with it being the most expensive city to live in the world.
Huh. It's kind of like New York has like pod hotels, you know, and it's like you literally can rent like a pod.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Crazy. Murder board. You ever heard of that?
Haven't.
This one sounds intense because it is, but doesn't have anything to do with actual murder. A murder board is basically an intense meeting where whoever is meeting critically analyzes a plan or proposal of some sort. It's a term used in, I guess, corporate settings, but also in government and military. And the term originated in the U.S. military, specifically from the Pentagon, according to audiocaciastrategies.com. They give a history of it. They explain that, quote, the murder board serves as a crucial role in identifying vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and other issues that internal stakeholders might overlook. They go on to explain it more, but they give the example of Shark Tank, like the show Shark Tank, where, you know, a person presents this idea or product and the sharks a lot of times fucking shoot it down and find everything wrong with it. But I guess in like corporate settings or with the military, like you have to have these murder boards because you have to figure out all of the reasons it could go wrong.
Got it.
So that's a murder board. You'll love this one. This reminded me because you love spy stuff.
I do.
A dead letter box. This term is used in reference to espionage. Spies would drop something containing top secret information at a secret location in a dead letter box. Then another spy would come by and pick it up, like pick up the information, right? No contact between the spies. It was called a dead drop. That was like no contact between spies. A live drop would mean meeting and exchanging stuff, like a hand-to-hand.
Well, it's like when I did the spy episode, I was talking about how they used to put them in like animal carcasses or something and just drop them for people to come find.
That's a dead drop.
Huh.
Yeah. A dead letterbox could literally be anything. I was looking at the Military Intelligence Museum and they have this picture of this like super cute, kitschy wooden dog statue. And I feel like my grandparents had one. I have a picture of it. It's like, okay, look, it's this little
it's
wooden,
like a little Yorkie or something.
Yeah. But actually the head screws off and has a little hidden compartment for messages.
Huh.
Next, we have ghost line. Ghost line is in reference to printing.
Oh.
So have you ever printed something and have seen like residual ink on the paper? Like you can almost make out what it says.
Yeah.
So that's a ghost line.
Okay.
Then we have a coffin ship. The term isn't referring to a ship transporting coffins. It's darker than that, actually. So a coffin ship refers to the ships that transported Irish immigrants to America during the Great Irish Famine in the 1800s.
This isn't a lie. We were just talking about the Irish famine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our new show that we're doing when we were in the recording studio, our director.
She was
Irish.
Irish.
We were talking about all like the history of.
Yeah. And how bad the Irish were treated when they got here. Yeah. So they came on coffin ships. And I guess they got the nickname coffin ships because there was so much disease and death on those ships.
Ugh.
But the term coffin ship is also used in the insurance world. I guess before maritime safety regulations were like in effect, someone could over-insure their boat, even if it was like falling apart, and it would be more valuable sunk than operating. So like, they use the term coffin ships. And if you really like dive deep into that, like that's how Lloyd's of London started, like the insane insurance company. Like I feel like all the stars use it because of coffin ships and like maritime laws and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, lastly though, I have my favorite one. It's called a coffin corner. You ever heard of the term coffin corner?
I haven't.
I'm going to end with this one because it has a fun origin, but it's used in a few different ways. In aerodynamics, a coffin corner refers to something way too complex to explain. So I literally had to dumb it down as much as I could to even be able to understand it and then have to explain it. I guess that it is referring to a flight condition in which an airplane, if it is at too high of an altitude, has to fly at just the right speed to not exceed its Mach speed. If it goes too slow, it will stall. If it goes too fast, it can lose control. Like it's this narrow path that it has to follow.
Okay.
There's like a triangle thing that they call a coffin corner.
Interesting.
And then a coffin corner is used in sports. And sorry, guys, I'm pulling this from Wikipedia because I also have an ESPN article that I can read about football, but it's just too long. So this is just very concise. And it says, quote, the coffin corner refers to the corner of the playing field in American football, just in front of the end zone from about the 5-yard line to the goal line. A perfect coffin corner kick is one that goes out of bounds, just before either orange pylon located in the front of the end zone. The punter tries to place the ball so that it lands out of bounds or is downed on the field by another member of the kicking team anywhere inside the 5-yard line without touching the goal line, thus forcing poor field position for the receiving team on their next offensive series.
Jeez.
But that Wikipedia article referenced coffin corners in Victorian homes. So I had to quickly look into that, and this is the origin of it. And you and I both have coffin corners in our houses.
Where is it? Which one is it?
In Victorian homes, there were these small niches in walls, primarily on a staircase. So I have one in my hallway. I have a little niche, the little thing that has a little cleon on it.
Yeah.
You have it in your dining room. You have that arced little cutout in the dining room wall.
And by my front door, technically.
Yeah.
No, fully by my front door. There's that
Yeah.
cutout and where like the little things under
Uh-huh.
it.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, the dining. I thought you were talking about in the kitchen.
No.
There's one in the corner.
There's a cutout?
Yeah.
Like an arch thing in the wall that's like
no, but there
recessed?
was at Betty Bungalow. I was thinking right now you were talking about like the breakfast nook in the kitchen where there's the dining table and chairs, but you were talking about the dining room.
Yeah.
At Betty Bungalow, she had cutout in the breakfast nook.
Those, if they're arched like that and like cut out.
I love that. It should be called like a tombstone corner, actually, because it's shaped more like a tombstone.
Okay, but no, because they had them in Victorian homes, I guess, along staircases, because a lot of, funerals and things or like viewings happened in the Victorian home.
Okay.
So they needed room to be able to move a coffin. So that little alcove gave them room. No, gave them room to turn a corner with a coffin. Like say you're moving a fucking couch or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you just need a little extra space to like shimmy to like turn it around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a coffin corner.
Wow. Good to know.
So there you have it.
Good to know.
Did it make sense after?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Totally. Well, I think so. I don't know about you guys, but
it's like gibberish the whole time.
Probably. I don't know. I'm barely here, babe. Barely here.
Alrighty. Well, that's it.
Incredible. And now it's time to move on to obituaries because I have the obituary for an incredible woman because I see your Richard Simmons and I raise you a Shelley Duvall, who we also lost.
Oh my gosh, we did.
And this is from The Atlantic. They did a beautiful, concise obituary for her. And it says, the remarkable charisma of Shelley Duvall. The late Duvall was made for the screen and for playing quietly resilient female characters. This was written by Beatrice Loiza. Quote, Shelley Duvall always seemed to be putting on a show. Consider her role as a tour guide named Suzanne in 1970s Brewster McCloud. As she leads visitors through Houston's Astrodome Stadium, Duvall's lollipop eyes are framed by dramatically long eyelashes, and her tender Texas drawl is amplified by a microphone. This was the very first scene of Duvall's movie career, and it would have seemed innocuous enough if not for the actor's hypnotic charms. Later, when the film's hero tries running off with Suzanne's burnt orange muscle car, she catches him in the act, but it's no biggie, because she sort of stole the car herself. Later, it's Suzanne with her coy, toothy grin who decides that the two will start dating. Her whims exert a gravitational force. Duvall, who died Thursday at age 75, wasn't a conventional bombshell. Still, her look was made for the screen. Her large eyes and lanky physique made her seem like a Modigliani painting made flesh. Her lilting vocals were instantly recognizable, lending her performances a melodic undertone. In Annie Hall, she's a music journalist, rambling enthusiastically about Bob Dylan, even though her schmucky date, played by Woody Allen, doesn't vibe with her countercultural airs. As Wendy Torrance in The Shining, Duvall infuses her warm, bubbly speech patterns with hope, despite the horrific actions of her husband, Jack Nicholson. And I feel like we always hear about, like, what a traumatic time in her life that was filming that movie. Anyways.
Dr. Phil ruined her.
Wendy knows he is capable of violence. He once dislocated the shoulder of their son Danny in a drunken rage, but she attempts to keep it together and push forward with optimism, however misguided. Duvall's eccentric women often found themselves in bleak situations, yet they pursued their ideals beyond reason. They'd rather try and fail than never to have tried at all. This same poignant positivity is what makes Duvall's role in Three Women, Robert Altman's dreamy identity swap drama, so indelible. Even before we're officially introduced to Duvall's Millie Lamoureux, we hear her voice from a distance, like birdsong. Pinky Rose, played by Sissy Spacek, is a new hire at a physical therapy center for seniors in Palm Springs, and she's immediately captivated by her coworkers' endless stream of chatter. Pinky still looks and acts like a little girl, whereas Millie, at least in Pinky's eyes, is a vision of elegance and independence. Millie's hair is impeccably coiffed, she smokes cigarettes and drives her own car, and she speaks incessantly of the men she dates. However, Pinky seems to be the only one who is impressed. The other girls at work ignore Millie. The neighbors openly mock her, and the guys at the roadside bar where she hangs out pay attention to her only when they're bored and horny. When Altman first started working with Duvall, he said he was drawn to her Raggedy Ann doll appearance. Her physical qualities made her something of a walking cartoon. In Altman's Popeye, she played Olive Oil. Incidentally, bullies at school used to call her that when she was a kid, which is such a redemption arc.
I know. It's like if I got to play Casper.
Yeah. As Millie in Three Women, a role that won her the Best Actress prize at the Cannes Film Festival, Duvall added depth to this feminine artifice. Millie behaves and styles herself in a manner that she's convinced is glamorous, and to build character, Duvall studied popular women's magazines from the time, such as Redbook and McCall's. Altman, whose working methods were highly collaborative, also allowed Duvall to write several of Millie's monologues, brisk lies about her social life and banal musings about her favorite recipes. Millie is playing the part of a classic Hollywood belle in a world that has no patience for such antics. She's a lifestyle mood board come to life, and Duvall's performance contains an anxious undercurrent. For a generation of women who have grown up with social media, Millie's plight might seem familiar. It's comforting to wield control over one's image, yet Duvall's performance is a reminder that this control can be deceptive. It goes on to talk more about the movie, and then it says, Millie's relentless world building is not just a defense mechanism, but a valiant attempt to live otherwise. Quote, I guess I've got a bit of the Peter Pan syndrome, Duvall said in 1987. I don't ever want to lose my innocence or my dreams. It's no wonder that Duvall was an avid collector of children's storybooks, and though she never had a child, her characters emanated a maternal warmth. See the gentle way Millie treats her physical therapy patients, how all her resentment melts away when Pinky attempts to commit suicide. The two women seem to swap personalities. Millie becomes the concerned caretaker, and Pinky's injuries turn her into the cheeky seductress Millie pretends to be. Duvall's nurturing side kept her adolescent streak grounded. Her youthful idealism was constructive. With it, she shaped the worlds she wanted for herself. Like Pinky, Pinky. We were lucky to have been invited in.
Oh,
I just thought it was really sweet.
rest in peace.
I know. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. Did you ever see on TikTok there was that like girl who was like a fan of hers and ended up like becoming friends with her and runs a whole Shelley Duvall account?
No.
Oh, it's cool.
Oh, very cool.
Rest in peace, Shelley.
Rest in peace. Iconic.
Who you got?
I have an obituary for a man named, we'll call him JC, 80, of Cookeville, Tennessee, and previously of Grand Ledge in Lansing, Michigan, passed away on Monday, July 1st, 2024. JC was preceded in death by his parents and sister. He was lucky enough to be married to two wonderful women. First wife, Bobby, who he continued to share fond memories with, and Patsy, who preceded him in death. He is survived by his two daughters, 3 granddaughters, 3 grandsons, 2 great-grandsons, cousins, friends, neighbors, and his beloved cat, Zippy. JC attended Lansing Eastern High School, graduating in 1963. He proudly served in the United States Air Force and spoke most memorably of his time in Italy. In his earlier years, he enjoyed hunting, fishing, driving fast, riding his motorcycle, making party mixtapes, dancing, and spending time with friends and family, watching Michigan State football and basketball, and drinking cheap beer. In his last years, he enjoyed riding his motorcycle, golfing, tinkering around the house, rooting on the Spartans, and he became a decent marksman at the local gun range. He also still changed the oil on his own vehicles. His Tennessee neighbors referred to him as the patron saint of feral cats, as he fed strays and their offspring daily. This is how he and Patsy came to take in Zippy. We will fondly remember our dad with his many JC-isms. Don't dick around in the passing lane, cash is king, never leave the house without making your bed, brush your teeth after every meal, and most memorably, life's a bitch and then you die.
Oh, so he was a man of many quotes.
Many quotes. Our hope is that you think of JC every time you hear a Bob Seger song or hit that crappy shot at the golf course. And you can picture our dad's shit-eaten grin at your failure. Think of him if you miss the target at the range and drop a few choice words. Please remember him when you see a guy on a Honda Goldwing cruising a 2-lane country road with the music blaring and a smile on his face. JC chose cremation. The family followed his wishes. His remains will be sprinkled at some of his favorite spots, and a celebration of his life will be held at a later date. I love him.
Love him. A man of many quotes.
Cutie. The patron saint of feral cats.
All right. Well, we have spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
Means it's time for some dumb
ass
criminals. And mine comes from New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Okay.
No bicycles in the drive-through lane.
Oh no.
I had to choose a bicycle-themed dumb criminal. Police in Florida busted a man who insisted on getting his Taco Bell order, even though employees said no bikes were allowed. The beach police said Gabriel Harris, 33, was denied service in a drive-through just after 3 a.m. Sunday. The Daytona Beach News Journal reports. The fast food workers called the cops after Harris refused to leave. We've all been there.
We've all been there.
Remember, you went backwards through a drive-thru.
Yeah.
Police say when they responded, Harris was drunk and had a red Swiss Army knife on his belt loop. When an officer tried to take the weapon, Harris grabbed the officer's arm and was wrestled to the ground and handcuffed. He is now charged with resisting arrest with violence. Okay, but I have to show you his mugshot because it's going in our Hall of Fame.
Let me see. Oh, he's so sad.
He's frowning.
Oh, no. And he was at Taco Bell?
Yeah.
And his hair is the color of a Baja Blast.
It truly is. And you know what? It's... Because how pissed would you be if not only did you not get your Taco Bell, but then you also had to go to jail hungry?
Oh my God, especially being drunk. Taco Bell's my number one man. That's my man. Okay, I have one from digitalspy.com. And I just love this.
Okay.
I love it so much. This is from 2010. A Philadelphia woman hid in a coffin at a funeral home after escaping from police custody. court papers have revealed. Nicole April Kelly, 19, was being transported to jail by authorities in Juniata County last Thursday when she managed to flee from deputies, according to the Sentinel. Once she had made her escape, the teenager ran into the Brown funeral home and hid away in a casket for 4 hours.
Oh my God.
She was eventually discovered by the business owner, Dan Brown, who called police. Kelly is now back in custody and facing a number of fresh charges, including escape, flight to avoid apprehension, criminal trespass, and criminal mischief. It is currently unclear what her original crime had been. But you know what? I don't know if it's dumb. I think it's smart.
That's a smart-ass criminal.
She went and hid in a coffin.
The last place they'll find you.
Yeah.
But they did.
They did.
Oh, man. Well, that I think about wraps it up for the week. If you want to check out everything that we're working on, that we're doing, go to obituarypodcast.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at obituarypodcast.
And if you just want to get the book and you can't make it to our tour that we're doing, prh.com/obituary.
But that's it for the week. We will see you next week with some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass
criminals. Goodbye.
Goodbye.